The concept I have chosen for my final assessment is to develop a magazine cover for business magazine Entrepreneur. I've chosen this topic because I have an interest in entrepreneurism, and I'm a regular reader of the magazine Entrepreneur. And I'd also like to help out my friend with his search for a job in the finance sector by providing a professional photograph that can be used in his portfolio. And this fits in with my selected theme of the project quite well. Entrepreneur is a magazine aimed at business owners, and it has been in circulation for 10 years. With a readership that is business oriented, the photography demands a degree of formality. My concept is to challenge the medium and the current composition of the front cover of the magazine by introducing a style that is more contemporary, dynamic and diverse than the current layout. The purpose behind this approach is to create an aesthetic that is versatile and can be reused again and again whilst retaining visual appeal to attract readers browsing the magazines at the newsstands. I also want to introduce a certain amount of elegance and class to the aesthetic, as this is more suited to the readership than the current approach, which is a bit more of a bare bones approach, and it almost resembles the look of tabloid newspapers. My source of inspiration for this assignment is a commercial photographer called Dustin Snipes. Dustin Snipes has a very dynamic style. His images seem to jump right out of the page. He achieves this effect by utilising high contrast lighting. Specific Photoshop techniques are also utilised in the post-production process to add the extra shine and exaggerated contrast that can be seen in his images. I like this style and believe utilising similar techniques to this photographer is suitable for the project, as the style is contemporary and dynamic while still being appropriate to be used in a commercial sense. I managed to mimic this style by utilising high contrast controlled lighting and a specific Photoshop effect, which I will discuss later on in this presentation. I asked my model to come in wearing business attire, minus a tie, as this is the style associated with most contemporary entrepreneurs. I set up the lighting as commonly utilised in traditional portraiture, with the light aimed at the subject at a 45-degree angle and a reflector to provide some fill light. Throughout the shoot, I directed the subject to look confident without looking too happy, as this would be most appropriate for the front cover of a business magazine. In total, I took approximately 200 shots of the subject. I directed the subject to utilise a variety of poses, ranging from very informal to formal. In the final photo I selected, the subject is holding a confident pose and the composition is formal. This is most appropriate for a business magazine. This is why it is the best of the final shots. I usually use a minimal amount of Photoshop effects to retain the quality of the image. That being said, once in Photoshop, I desaturated the image by 90%, leaving a little bit of colour that is hard to notice, but provides an interesting tone for the image. I exaggerated the highlights and shadows using the dodge and burn tools. I then duplicated the image layer, ran it through the high pass filter, and set the blending mode to hard light. This provides punch and contrast for the final image that cannot be achieved using levels or curves adjustments. The final result is a contemporary stylized image that represents the confident character of the model and is most appropriate for the front cover of a magazine about entrepreneurs.